12th, 2025. Hard to believe, Brendan. This month's just flying by. We are, 17 days away from the start of college football season.
Yes. And we are in the Lionsgate portal for all the astrology folk out there, because I follow astrology. I didn't know if you know that, Rob.
No, it's probably smart to do it. I don't think there's any probably to it. It is
smart. Well, my AI does in my morning briefing. Tells me my birth chart. Now, I didn't know much about this until AI, but now, of course, got to listen to AI.
It makes you think. Right. It does. Hey, take a picture with your phone of the QR code. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, about 8 channels. And we also put 9. And we put stuff out. Brendan is putting out reels throughout the day. This channel, morning to night, and in between your stop, SEC Sideline Sports Network. So got a great show today. Coach Houston Nutt checks out. I guess he's out in the Metroplex is what they call it, Dallas or north of Dallas. But he'll be on with us along in the second half hour. Yancy Porter in Oxford with the Rebel Yell Hotline. And we'll have Rodney Orr, Tider Insider, will check in. Man, not only is he a great dad and father, grandfather to these kids, Rodney knows his Alabama stuff in the SEC.
And great guy. And I just wanted to say really quick before we bring in Houston Nutt, and he's been patient. Most of you all watch this show and you don't subscribe, or you don't go and click on this QR code. And I just wanted you to know that if you want Rob to continue to wear really cute glasses like he is now, right now, the new glasses that are adorable on him, he looks great.
Audrey ordered. I hope
you look great. If you wanted really great content, you want this to keep going, all you got to do, it's free of charge, is like us, follow us, subscribe to the show, all that stuff. We ask you very much. That helps us out and to continue to bring you great content in the future. So just so you know, just doing that process not only gets you notifications on our show, but it also helps us out a great deal. So please do that for us. So I just wanted to let everyone know once in a while. And with that, I'm going to steal Rob's thunder and introduce Coach Houston Nutt to the program. Sir, how are you? Welcome to Sideline Sports with Rob Brown.
Hey, doing good, guys. Well, you guys are so high tech, man. I appreciate the link, but you just zoom me in here and it's live. You guys are unbelievable.
It's fun, and look, it's a team. And I just got a text. Sheriff West over in Cross County said, my app will not allow me to open an account on Twitter, so I'm going to send him away. But I like to have the sheriff watching the show.
Sheriff, you can watch on Facebook. You can watch on YouTube. We're everywhere, Sheriff.
We'll get him squared away. And you know what, Coach? This. I love this time of year. Another one, a great Houston Nutt quote. Best days of your life. Best days of your life. Talking about practice and all. You know what? I was out with my son-in-law and Glenn Rogers, who moved over from MUS coaching. He's now at Christian Brothers after 25 years. And I said, look, I grew up, all my friends went to MUS. I went to Christian Brothers. They're pretty big rivalry here in Memphis. And I said, I don't want to hear people bad-mouthing because he loved it, but he's ready for a new chapter in his life. High school football, how big a deal it is. You told us a couple of years ago, Rob, I'm going to my first ever tailgate. I've never been to one. You've got kids and grandchildren. How fun is life for Coach Houston Nutt?
Nothing like it right now. And I'm like you guys, this is August. I love August. It was always eat, sleep football,
Yeah.
And Friday nights, being able to go to a Friday night game, being able to, as you mentioned, had my first tailgate, last year. So there's nothing like it. I have 3 grandsons. I see what all the fuss is about. So many people said, hey, boy, wait, you get grandsons. Here's my picture of my grandson, granddaughter, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. But I tell you what, when they hand you yours, woo, it's a whole different deal. Yeah. But you talk about the best days of your life. I remember that's what I miss the most, guys, is the relationships with the players. And it'd be Heat Index 112 in August, whether you had Ole Miss or Murray State or Arkansas. And it would be
hot.
I'd come through those stretch lines, guys. Best days of your life, and the players look at me like, oh, God, here he comes again, Coach Nutt, man. But I tell you, we could lift them up, and I stole this from Jimmy Johnson about that second week, guys. Best days of your life, we got them all taped up, and they're just going through, they're hating life.
Yeah.
And I said, guys, I tell you what, will you follow me? Yes, sir. Will you follow me? Yes, sir. Take off your pads. We're going to the swimming pool. Oh, man. You talk about
God.
105 guys that were
Yeah.
that hated life just 30 seconds ago. All of
Yeah.
a sudden, in this cool water, hitting
Yeah.
a volleyball up, jumping in the pool. Oh, coach, we love you, coach. But now the next day, now we got it out of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and the thing about it is, Brendan, all of us growing up playing sports, the people that pushed you the hardest are the ones that you love the most. And you knew that they loved you and cared about you.
Right.
And you about relationships. You get the chance. My favorite walk-on ever as a kid out of Searcy, Weston Dacus. That's who I want. If I can't have Matt Dillon or Festus on my side, I want Weston Dacus because that was a tough kid from over in Searcy. The walk-ons, Coach, the state of college football, talk about that and how important they are to the team.
I love walk-ons. It means so much more. It's amazing. If you did research, you'll find that the walk-ons actually give back to their school much quicker than the ones that even go to the NFL. They'll give back quicker because of the price they paid, the sacrifice. Yep. You mentioned Weston Dacus. It didn't take him long to become a full scholarship guy because of his heart, his work ethic, and his attitude and toughness. Yeah. And Ben, you just love people that love the game, that play it so hard, and that just run through a wall for you. And the unselfishness, and this is what I think it's the greatest game in the world because, hey, I love pickleball now and I love golf, but, it's more individual. This thing, a team with offense, defense, special teams, you're going to get knocked down, and that's not the sin. The sin is if you stay down. Yeah. And Weston Dacus and Brandon Burlsworth, they had that heart that would say, I'll get up and fight for my team.
Yeah. And you can't, those two right there, Mount Rushmore of walk-ons. I mean, Brandon, that's the story of his life. It's unbelievable. And that legacy just keeps on going. You're out in Dallas. You're a native Arkansan. Your family's roots are, and I know Tim Horton, my friend, and Coach Horton, Harold, who coached my friend Tommy Christenberry at Arkansas. There are only 5 families in the state of Arkansas who have 2 or more members of the Hall of Fame. The Hortons and Nutts are both in that group. That's an exclusive group of people. Now, the SEC, here it is. You got Oklahoma in, you got Texas. They've come in, and Texas people, they're not apt to brag or boast at all about it.
No. Not at all.
How much fun are you having, especially getting that rivalry going again?
Hey, you know what's unbelievable, guys? Remember when the announcement first came out on Oklahoma, Texas coming to the SEC? I really thought it was an April Fool's joke. There's no way. Because, Oklahoma was getting to the Final Four by the Big 12. I'm thinking, why in the world would you want to come jump over here in this league? And I understand the money and this and that, but do you realize now? And it's the grind of it, because I'd have a lot of coaches, I'd go through when I was going to CBS New York. I'd go through Atlanta, and sometimes I'd see a lot of coach. We beat an SEC team in a bowl time. We beat you. I said, that's good. That's good. Now let me ask you this. And they start bragging about their conference, the Big 12, ACC. So let me ask you this: how you think you would do if you had to go to Georgia, to Alabama, to Florida, back to back to back to back? It's the grind of it. Mm-hmm. And so Oklahoma and Texas, I got a lot of respect for their programs, guys. You know how good the tradition that they have, but this is different. Now, Texas is rolling. They're feeling so good about the recruiting they've done, and Coach Sarkisian is doing a great job, no doubt about it.
Got that quarterback that's never played much.
Right. So I'm real. I got my popcorn and Coke ready, guys. I can't wait. This season is going to be something else, and let's see how they do.
Well, and thinking like what Brendan just said, yesterday we had Ellis Johnson and Pete Cordelli on with us talking in Dave Bartu College Football Matrix. And, Pete was saying, or was it, Pete or one of them said, if you're Ohio State, you're going to start blitzing Arch Manning before he gets off the bus. But, he's a Manning. He knows his football, and but you played some quarterback. You know the position. You're the head coach. What are you doing? Are you just doing what you've always been doing with him? Just stay steady. You're going to be ready for the moment, and no negative thoughts allowed between those ears.
Well, he has such great DNA, with Dad, uncles and grandfathers all played the position. So, it's built in. The thing that's different now compared to when I was coaching is, they have these OTAs that you can work them out in the summer. Yeah. Where you have these film studies. And the one thing I know Coach Sarkisian will do such a great job of, he'll really break things down and really give Arch these lessons of, okay, they're going to come. They're going to give you a perception of blitz. It could be every play. And we're going to find out where the free safety is located. We're going to find out what advantages we have. We're going to get this ball out of your hands. He's going to protect him with balls that get out of his hands quick, the screens, the draws, the lace, little things like that will keep defenses off balance. So I'm looking forward to it. He's a talented guy, but boy, they'll come after him.
Yeah. And he started a couple of games, but like you say, it's the back to back to back. It's like, hey, look what I did. It's like the commission sales business. You had a great month. It's the first of the next month. You're back at 0.00. That's the world I've lived in for a long time. Oklahoma. I think the biggest off-field acquisition in college football was getting Jim Nagy to leave the Senior Bowl and be the GM at Oklahoma. He really knows. He's been in the NFL 18 years, 4 Super Bowl rings. And then Brent Venables. Do you know Coach Venables? What do you know about him? I love the story behind him.
I went over and spoke to his group a couple years back. I really like Coach Venables. I love his energy. And again, he's it's a tough gig. It's not easy. And of course, the fans of Oklahoma, they expect a championship. They got national titles on the wall.
Yeah.
So you mentioned something with Coach Nagy. Nagy being now part of the group, being able to pick these players and handle these players, negotiate and all these things. Man, this is big. This is what's big. Here's what's tough, guys. When I go speak to different teams, what blows my mind is when you say, Coach, how did spring go? Well, spring went great, but we got 30 players that didn't go through spring. They're just getting to campus.
Yeah.
And so some of these teams, Arkansas has 50 new players, and Missouri had 37. You go through these numbers like it's unbelievable now, the difference in handling that locker room, because you think they're good. They've got a good resume, but now it's getting in that locker room and having one heartbeat. To me, that's the trick.
Yeah. You're right, because building or bonding a group of guys together when you've got 40 in some cases. Ole Miss they're doing it uniquely. But junior college, back in the 70s and 80s and 90s, junior colleges were huge. You could have a 3 or 4 year run where you're on top of the world, and all of a sudden, wow, you're playing a game of musical chairs and you ain't got anywhere to sit down. Talk about junior colleges today and the portal. We try to stay away from that word. And hey, you get a free steamer pack of crystals from me if we go a whole show with that thing. But your thoughts on that, and then I'm going to get into some more stuff with Arkansas and Florida.
Right. Portal, I've helped people transfer before. But the thing that's tough to me right now is when you got young people that have 3 or 4 different schools. You don't even need a senior day anymore because they don't know what school they belong to. They've gone to so many different schools. So I wish they would do a one-time transfer, and that's a whole nother subject, for change. But junior college, I was awake in my eyes, woke up when I got to Ole Miss because there were so many junior colleges in Mississippi. Yeah. And I always, usually went 2 to 3 trying to find a junior college guy that could go immediately help plug a position that we needed. They were older. Go get a junior college. I love having 3 or 4 different guys. I never recruited 12, 13, 14, or 15. Yeah. But junior college now, like anything, with the portal, everybody's into what I call free agency now. Yeah. And what I hate the most is, as you mentioned at the start of the show, you talk about walk-ons, you're talking about freshmen. Yeah. And some of these freshmen, I have so many daddies from high schools that call me, Coach, my kid's just not getting looked at. In a lot of years, they'd be highly recruited, but colleges aren't going that way, And I miss that part of it. I miss the development and I'm real curious on how you'll sustain this thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I want to ask you about Talon Green, quarterback. He's from I hate that. I don't hate it, but the Metroplex. It's such a big area. Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, everywhere. he's a pretty damn good quarterback. Dudley Dawson thinks he's now 6'8" from 6'6" last year. He's grown 2 inches, but man, he can do a lot of stuff in second year in that offense with Bobby Petrino. And after that, I want to get your thoughts on how you'd be handling all the questions about DJ Lagway, another Texas high school quarterback. I mean, what is it? 20% of the starters in college football think come from Texas.
Yeah. Well, Taylon Green, what will make Coach Pittman sleep a lot better is when you have a quarterback that's coming back for the second year in the SEC. And the one thing that Taylon Green can do is he can escape, he can avoid, he can extend plays. And in this league, because they're so athletic up front, you're not going to be able to block these guys for 70 plus. There's going to be 5 to 6 plays where, hey, quarterback, you got to help me here. The left tackle may miss a chip block, or you may miss this. What are you going to do? And this is where Taylon Green is it keeps defensive coordinators up at night, because he can escape, he can improvise, and he can run. And when you can run, he's like the 12th man. And so, to me, he's got to get better, and this is where Bobby Petrino will come in. He has to get better at knowing where to go with the ball. Because what the defensive coordinator is going to do, they're going to, hey, Taylor, I know you can run. Guess what?
Yeah. Well, we'll bring in Coach with us in a second. But Coach,
you got me.
Yeah, we got you back. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm in Little Rock, Arkansas, in with my mom's house. So I hope we're coming through okay.
No, you were great. I think maybe those crows got to the Wi-Fi there.
Y'all want me to move? If y'all want me to move inside, inside. These crows are getting loud.
I love where you are. I love where you are. Trust me. But keep going. You were talking about the elusiveness and escapability of Taylon.
I just think the teams are going to. They know Taylon Green can run, so what are they going to do? They're going to say, "Hey, Taylon, we want to see if you can beat us with your arm." And so this is to me where Bobby Petrino will come in, and he will. His second year, I look for much more improvement of being very accurate, knowing where to go with the ball quicker, because these teams they're going to heat him up. They're going to overpopulate the line of scrimmage, and Taylon will have to be able to make some throws to keep this thing going.
Yeah, DJ Lagway. Big kid, saw him at media days. I mean, he's probably pushing 240. Man, mature, really, really in command. Answers every question thoroughly. But all these questions, guys get banged up. How would you be handling this? I like Billy Napier. He's very methodical, but he's a plan, and he is another son of a high school football coach who coached at the end in a wheelchair. So you cannot question his toughness and dedication and love of the game.
No question about it. The one thing, the 2 words always used to wear our coaches out with, hey, keep them healthy. Keep them healthy. You want to keep them out of the training room. And that's a fine line on when to scrimmage, how many scrimmages, and do you hit the quarterback, and all those questions that always come up. And so you got to get them to the gate. It doesn't do any good to get them hurt now in August with this season that's so long and getting longer. And so it's very, very important. And so, you got to somehow keep this guy healthy, get him to the starting gate, because we've seen healthy Lagway is the difference for the Gators. He's the difference. And so you got to have this guy.
You look at the competition. Last year, DJ, at the end of the season, I don't think they lost a game, Florida, that he started and finished in the game. He wasn't there for the Texas game. Didn't work out well. But how do you compare him? Who would you compare DJ Lagway to in the last 5 or 10 years, just in the SEC?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. A guy that big, he's hard to compare. The guy can run. Here's where I give this guy credit, and Coach Napier. They written this team off, guys. They were toast. They were gone. They're firing and all the outside noise. For them to come back the way they did, and I give Coach Napier and Lagway so much credit for hanging in there and coming back to fight. And this guy can run, he can move, he can throw, he can do all those things. He's just got to stay healthy. And when you have a combination of a quarterback that's a true duo, a guy that can run and the guy can throw, man, that is so needed in this league in the SEC. He's valuable, and so it's hard to compare. Hard to pick out a guy that's built like that. You said he's 240 plus. I hadn't seen him live, but when you look at him, he looks like a linebacker. And hard to bring down. So you got to keep him healthy.
Yeah. And another one, a program, you're in Little Rock right now, to the north, Missouri. Eli Drinkwitz, he's from Alma, Arkansas, right there by Fort Smith. He can coach. I like this guy. He's something about him. And I asked him a question. I said, the passion of the Cardinal Nation. Have you ever thought about trying to work with them to transfer some of that over to Columbia, about 107 miles west on I-70? And he goes, that's a good question. He's probably thinking about it, but you know what? How big the Cardinals are? They own the state of Arkansas. St. Louis Cardinals baseball, I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. I just spoke to their team, and it's about my brother coaches basketball up there, and he's very organized, and boy, he has a real plan. And when you got the blueprint and the players believe in you, man, you got something going. And again, it goes back to the organization, how many transfers you take. You lose players each year. All that business right there is so tough and delicate, And Eli's done a really good job with that. And you got St. Louis, you got Kansas City. He's done a good job in that state. Got the fans behind him. And so, how about this? His first 6 games, guys, he doesn't leave the state. He stays right there in his backyard. First 6 games are at home. He has Kansas, I think, the second game. So I think UCA travels up there the first game. So the schedule's laid out. But, he plays South Carolina. You play Texas A&M. You got, you start hitting that grind after those first 4 games. Boy, here we go.
Yeah. And another one, Texas A&M. Talking about Marcel Reed, kid out of MBA up in Nashville. We use the term again. The quarterback position really well. You're really good at getting guys to play their best and keeping them calm, but you can get them fired up too. Marcel Reed can run like a deer, and everybody says, "Oh, he's got to work on his throwing." How much can you improve from year 1 to year 2 as a quarterback? And his quarterback coach obviously plays a big role in that, but ultimately it's him.
It is. And again, he's athletic, as you mentioned. Yeah. I've seen quarterbacks really improve from year 1 to year 2, especially they've got a little bit of confidence under their belt. They've been through it a year. And this is, like I said, the Talon Green's the second year. I think you'll see a great deal of improvement, especially the same coach. I think they can improve and get that mind working where you want them on automatic pilot. And the biggest thing is you don't have to be Superman. A lot of quarterbacks say, I got to make a play. Yeah. That's where you get yourself in trouble, where you think you got to force the football. It's okay to dump it off or throw it up to grandmother in the third row. It's okay. We want to re-huddle. We want to just keep the ball, the most precious thing you have. And so I think that's the key. The quarterback that takes care of the ball, the most precious thing you have consistently, and gets the team in the end zone. And to your question, I think a quarterback really can improve. I think a good quarterback coach, a good grass coach can really help this quarterback. I really do.
Yeah. And then, you look around this league, John Mateer is coming in from Washington State, as did Cam Ward the year before going down to Miami. And I don't know why they don't want to stay in Pullman. I mean, I love hunting and fishing. I think I'd love it out there. I mean, but I digress. I got to ask you about Lenora Sellers at South Carolina. Ellis Johnson said, last year he kind of came on first year. Now everybody's got tape on him. But remember, from a quarterback yourself, he's got tape on them. What do you see happening there? Because Shane Beamer's got energy like you do. He'd be fun to play for. It would be fun to get up at 4:30 in the morning with a guy like that, because he'd probably be there working out with you like you did.
I tell you what, there's a lot of people excited about South Carolina. And it goes to Lenore's because of that guy. Okay. And it goes back to, again, played a little bit last year, got his feet wet. There's going to be more confidence. There's going to be a little bit more in the playbook now. And when you got a guy again that can improvise when things go down, when things break down, he makes it happen. And
Yeah.
so I tell you, I got a lot of belief in Lenore Sellers. I really think that's why everybody's really high on the Gamecocks right now, because of that position and because of the things that he can do. And again, it goes back to that quarterback coach, that relationship, that second year, a little bit better, getting a little bit better, understanding defenses better. A lot of times, when they get out there the first time, they're just, they got a playbook that's very vanilla. Hey, just hand the ball off here to the right, hand to the left. We're going to throw a post here. And all of a sudden now they start to understand, and the game slows down. And when the game slows down and they can protect the ball, you got something. You got something special.
Yeah, and I love that term, and it's slow because at first it's so fast you
Yeah,
can't, and it's slow I think sometimes when people read that they don't get it, but it's like, okay, now I'm totally in command of what's happening.
exactly.
Another one, Josh Heupel. I think he's a great quarterback coach. Played at Oklahoma, won a national championship, runner up for the Heisman. He's going to bring in Joey Aguilar from App State, and Coach, you ain't missed a beat. In fact, I think you're even more knowledgeable since you were doing the CBS because you don't have to travel so much. What'd you say? 22 weeks a year. You did it for 11 years.
Yes, yes.
That's a that's a
It was a
grind.
grind. It was a grind. It was a
Yeah.
grind. But CBS was really good to me. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed
Oh
it.
yeah.
But
We
it
miss
was a grind.
Yeah. Well, we miss seeing you on there because you always represented the SEC in college football, but you found something good in every situation. We just got a couple of minutes. What do you think Heupel can do with Joey Aguilar? He was at App State for 2 years, UCLA for a semester, but now he's coming into the SEC. His 4-year total of interceptions, Heupel's quarterbacks, total of only 18. What does that tell you about the way he coaches them?
Oh, does a great job with strategy. Does a great
Okay.
job of being able to execute and really put the defense in bind. He puts them in binds. And he'll
Okay.
take their worst corner or their worst backer and he'll match it up.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about Josh Heupel. What was a key game to me is when you take your team to a place, go back to Oklahoma where he played. That's
Yeah.
emotional, man. I took Ole Miss back to Arkansas. I'm gonna tell you something. That's emotional, man. That's hard.
Yeah.
He did that. If you look at that game, strategy wise, really
Yeah.
good. X's and O's, and be able to get a high low, stretch the field, and put your quarterback in that position where it makes it easy. And that's what he'll do with
Yeah.
Joey. He'll be able to, hey, it's A to B, and then it's either we're either going to run or we're going to throw it away. He will make that thing so simple, but he will put a defense in the bind. And you're right, Josh Heupel does such a good job. Look at the time what he did against Alabama's defense. I don't know if you remember that year with against Coach Saban, but boy, he had two receivers and he had his quarterback, and they were on time with precision, with the skinny post, with the crossers and the drags, all these different things. And then all of a sudden it's over the top. And when you hit those explosive plays, it kills the defense. It just sucks the air out of them. And that's what Josh Heupel's very good at doing. So it'll be interesting to see how the App State quarterback will adjust now with the speed of this game. The speed of the game, he'll see, will be different. And
Yeah.
his eyes will be very big the first few games.
Yeah, it's kind of like a blocked punt. Special teams that'll kill you. That'll break your heart.
Oh,
You been
exactly.
to Marion, Arkansas?
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
All right. Next time you get over to Marion, go over there to Allie B's Bakery and Deli by the courthouse. Allison Dooley's watching right now. Loves the Razorbacks. She got his son up
All
there
right.
right now in school, and there's no rush to get out 6-7 years. However long you want to stay in college. But I got to tell you, I went to Fayetteville back in October last year with Jim and Pat McClellan, friends, and they are as Razorback as it gets. And he's watching out in Frisco, Colorado right now, where it's 62 degrees. It'll be 120 and it'll be 120 in parking today. And they're, by the way, they're starting to harvest the rice. But leave us with one parting thought. I know you got to go. What would you be telling college football fans? Give them a little quick 30-second locker room speech. Oh, the game's ruined, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Get them fired up.
Okay. Well, I would say this. Hey, I know there's a lot of conversation and a lot of concern, and I have some of the same concerns, about where our game is going and how you're going to sustain it. And look, I've always been. I wanted to have the players to have money in their pocket. But to me, you got to put some guardrails on this thing where it's not lopsided in that locker room where a guy makes $1 million and your left guard makes 10 cents. You want to straighten that thing out. But here's the thing. Here's the thing you can't forget. This is the greatest game in the world. These are the best days of your life. These players will learn life lessons that will take them. I get emails and letters and texts today, and they always end it with, "Hey, coach, you were right. I didn't think you were, but you were right. It was truly the best days of your life because of the lessons that they learn about team, about being unselfish, about 2 words, thank you. Thank you, Cook, for cooking this wonderful meal. Thank you, strength coach, for taking me to getting me faster and stronger. Thank you, coach, for giving me that wisdom. Thank you, mother and daddy, for raising me the way you did. Now I'm this man." In football will help this young man if they listen, if they take the 2 ears. Now, sometimes they get it mixed up. Good Lord gave them 2 ears and a mouth for a reason to listen twice as much as you talk. If they listen and listen well, they will become a man. And this is the greatest game in the world. Let's go.
Yeah, no doubt. Coach, what an honor, man. Have fun in Little Rock. We got to get you back on again soon. But again, that's what we need to be hearing more of because negativity is a waste of time. It's like worrying is like praying for something you don't want to happen. But what an honor. You live in Dallas or north in McKinney, don't you?
Well, I live in McKinney, but I'm going to tell you now, guys, I'm probably going to be heading to Rogers, Arkansas. That's where 3 grandsons are, and I like a magnet, so we're probably going to be moving there real quick.
Oh, that's 200 miles of mountain bike and hiking trails right there. You're going to have a blast and fail. Well, we'll do it again soon, Coach. Thank you so much.
Tell that Marion Bakery be ready because I will stop in because I like to eat.
Oh, she's got great food. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it so much. And I tell you what, Brendan, you said something about, college football and what he said about DJ Lagway and all these different subplots going on out there. As a competitor, you're competitive. I'm competitive. We're all competitive in what we do. And you were at Spurrier's Bar and Grill last night. Gridiron Grill. Mm-hmm. 4th anniversary, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right.
All right. Talk about that real quick and who all was there because, folks, if you have not been there, and I got an email from Freddie Weeby. I wish I could have been there, but that's a special place, and it was a special event.
Yeah, it is. And it really is a special place. And I'm not just saying that because we're friends with them, saying it because I've been to a lot of places and a lot of people doing bars and restaurants and things like this, and coaches and players and, Elway's in Denver and all that stuff. Truly, this place just captures it all. Freddie Weeby's done a fantastic job. It's called Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Gainesville. Coach is there. Spurrier's walking around there. They got a podcast studio in the middle of the restaurant where you can see into it. So they do all their podcasting and stuff there. But it's a place now that has become a mecca for recruits to come and check out. A mecca for fans to come check out, and a place for recruits to come and see where they bring recruits. Freddie's was involved with the collective at one point. I don't know where he's at right now. I know he's very busy, but you see last night, which was their 4th anniversary of the opening of Spurrier's, and we had they bring in all the local media and they put us in a private room, which is really great. And then Spurrier comes in, he says hello. And we had everybody there from Shane Matthews, Chris Doring was there. We had every beat writer that was there. I saw all the guys that come on our show. I really, Lauren Meadows was there. Anybody who's anybody. And it's just a neat event. Then Spurrier goes out, talks to the restaurant. Everybody's having dinner. It's a beautiful buffet. And he told the story last night about how the swamp got the name, which is cool. Which I hadn't heard that story. I think I may have heard the story. But
tell more. Tell us all.
Yeah. Well, he was talking about it. I don't know what year it was, but he was coaching, and he says, talking to Mike Bianchi, the sports writer. And he says, I'm trying to figure out what should we call this? What should we call this place? He says, somebody said something to me about how this used to be a swamp out here, where the Ben Hill Griffin Stadium is. And they said, well, we're calling the swamp. I said, well, I'll never fly, one of those things. And, then it sort of sticks. So you hear the lore. And if you're a fan of any one of your teams, it's great to go and hear this kind of stuff. And so if, just as a Gator fan, but just, I don't know, just a part of a family, as you talk about at Auburn, that's the core of what family is up there now, as far as media is concerned, fans are concerned. And it's just a special event, and I was honored to be there. So.
Well, and I like Mr. Sip. What's on the menu? Sounds like they got great food. I tell you what is on the menu, Yancy Porter.
Yeah, it's a steak place, and it's delicious. And if you go there, you got to check out drink steaks. Everything's great, and check out Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. I am not sponsored yet, by the way.
Well, it sounds like a yummy place. Yancy Porter, you know what? You can catch him Monday nights at 6 p.m. Central every Monday throughout the year. Rebel Yell Hotline. What a great show. Super Talk Mississippi. Yancy, Rodney Orr is going to join us here in about 10 minutes. Practice updates from Alabama. Between now and then, I'm handing the ball to you. Let's talk Ole Miss depth charts, practice, blocking, tackling, quarterback, battle, if there really is. I mean, Austin Simmons, I think, is the man, but you have forgotten more than I know, so let's go.
Yeah, every roster throughout America has its warts, right? It's just how many warts do you have and how well can your staff hide those warts? And Ole Miss is no different. They've got a couple warts. I think right now, I think they feel really, really good about their defensive line. It's kind of been a trend, hadn't it, Rob, with the defensive line, the front seven. You always ask how many do they feel comfortable with? How many can they trust on the defensive line? They got eight defensive linemen that they fully trust right now. They got four corners. They've got four linebackers. Right now, the issue is safety on defense. They had four of their safeties shot during that Memphis pool party, and three of them were guys, players that they were going to be counted on heavily, and those guys are recovering right now. Those players, and one returned yesterday, full. Dante Core, another TJ Banks, who was thought of as their best defensive back. Period. It was back on the field in a black jersey, not in any kind of contact, kind of going through it halfway. We don't know how long it's going to take him to get back full, but there's a good sign he's back on the practice field. And then MJ Preston, I hear he's going to redshirt. I hear he had to have surgery from the gunshot wound on his leg. So that's been really an issue. Is that going back to that pool party there in Memphis? It really put a dent in their depth, their safety on the offense. Offensive line, I wouldn't call it a wart, like safety is right now. But I would say that without a couple of their key starters at this past scrimmage, they didn't function well. And that's not good because we all know offensive linemen are in the trenches and there's going to be injuries. You're going to have a couple guys probably hurt for most games. That's just the way it is in the trenches. And so they've got to really get some guys developed, some guys ready for the SEC wars there on the offensive line. The skill position guys, I think they're going to be better than last year. I think from tight end to running back to wide receiver, I think they're more athletic. Believe it or not, I think they're going to be better. The running backs is drastically better. Even though we saw our boy Bentley, starting at Indianapolis, leading their exhibition game there in the NFL in rushing yards, and who knows where he was last year while he was on the bench against Florida for all the marbles, and they brought in some four-string walk-on wide receiver, kick returner to play while he sat on the bench. But that question will never, ever, ever be answered. Probably for the rest of Lane Kiffin's life. Maybe when he's dying on his bed, when he's 95 years old, he'll tell the real reason about what happened there.
Yeah.
But that's still a mystery at Ole Miss. And then offensively, they turn it over a little bit too much. Quarterbacks, running backs, that's been a concern. Really, Simmons has not until that scrimmage. He threw some picks in the scrimmage Saturday, but I mean, this is his first time through the rodeo, so to speak, as the guy. And he's had a great preseason camp. He's just got a little loose with the ball Saturday. Hopefully, learn from the mistakes. So I'm not really worried about that at all. Right now, getting some of these safeties back. They got some other good safeties, but they're just not, there's no length. They're all 5'11", 6 feet. They need those 4 or 5 safeties that have been on the DL that are 6'2", 6'3". So get longer there at safety, get a couple of those offensive linemen back, and try to develop some more. And that's kind
What
of been
about
the
the
story of the camp.
linebackers? Centerrain, Perkins. There's some real
Yeah.
serious talent at that position.
Yeah, Get Perkins, his nickname is Get. He really plays more that jack linebacker, that rush DN. That's really his specialty. He's got 19 sacks his first 2 years at Ole Miss. He's kind of an edge guy, kind of like Princely was there at Florida that later transferred to Ole Miss. He's not really a true linebacker. Now he has been playing some linebacker sets when they've gotten into the 3-4 and some different sets there under PG. Talking about Golding there, the defensive coordinator at Ole Miss. I think they feel like they got 4 they could go to war with, and then a couple more they're trying to get ready to
But
go to
you
war.
you talk about that safety position, and that's something that if your defensive pass rush isn't really strong, will become a bigger issue. We both know that. So hope that works out. You got to, not much time to get ready, but uh, these guys are competitors, and if they can do it, they'll do it. You talk about the running back position. Again, it is one of the great mysteries.
The safety position
Go
though
ahead.
will be helped out immensely by the defensive line. I think that's really been the story of the camp is when you lost JJ Piggies, when you lost Jared Alvey, when you lost Walter Nolan, you naturally thought there was going to be a pretty big drop off there, but that has been the surprise. Princely's younger brother, Prince
Yeah.
Will, is there's whispers he's going to be better than Princely. He's not only can he get after the passer, but he can defend the run. Xavion Harris, all 6'8", 350 pounds of him, is just a man child there at nose guard. Jamarius Brown, those guys, William Eccles, the defensive tackle, the freshman, they signed a really, really talented freshman class last year. They all, have been tutored under those guys, and Cam Franklin, another one. They feel like that defensive line group is going to be one of the top 2 or 3 D lines in the country.
Yep. Walter Nolan last year and Pegues were such great athletes. How is Pegues doing in the NFL right now?
He's still great. He's with the Raiders. He's getting playing time. He had a sack the other night. He's doing great. Piggies is always going to be nothing flashy. He's just going to be one of those guys that's solid as a rock.
Yeah, that I was going to say, solid as a rock, steady, great hands, can play a number of positions, and hope he has a great career. As I do Walter Nolan, man. Again, guys like him, they don't come along very often. Uh, Transformative players. Okay, so Austin Simmons, he's presumed to be the starter because it's obvious we're not even hearing about really the guys behind him. Who else is in that quarterback room pushing him? Because if you don't have competition, you can get stale.
Yeah, I think Maddox is going to be the guy. He was there last year as a freshman. He'll be a redshirt freshman this year from Oak Grove. He can really spin the ball. They brought in a guy from D2 that was the D2 Player of the Year as well, and he could maybe get in some running sets at the beginning, some wildcat looks, so to speak. He's a great runner. But I think, if Simmons were to get hurt and they needed a full time quarterback and that specialty says, I think Maddox from Oak Grove, the redshirt freshman, he's got special arm talent. He's going to be really good one day.
Yeah, and you think about Lane Kiffin's ability to develop quarterbacks. I mean, the exhibit A, B, and C are the 14, 15, 16 seasons at Alabama. 3 different quarterbacks, 3 straight SEC titles, and 1 national title, another runner-up. I mean, that is the proof if you ever question it. Pete Golding is defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Again, I think he's doing a really good job. Was maligned at Alabama, but again, he couldn't have survived 4 years there if he wasn't good. Talk about his development and his ability to evaluate talent, because I think he's really good at that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's put himself as, one of the elite coordinators on either side of the ball in the country.
Yeah.
Ole Miss will be blessed to have him as long as they can before he becomes a head coach one day. He's, one of the true young rising coaches in the coaching ranks. They're in a good situation right now. He's got some unique stuff with family that are from Oxford.
Yeah.
His wife's family that he really wants to be here for a while right now. And, they're in a unique situation with both Pete and Lane, with his family. They've got the Kiffin compound now. Kiffin
Yeah.
sold his house to his brother, Chris Kiffin. And then Kiffin bought the next door house, and they've got 7 kids there. They've got aunts and uncles, and it's the Kiffin compound here at the country club, and they're running around everywhere. And for the first time really in their life, the Kiffin family's able to all spend time together. All the Kiffins are here in Oxford, all of them, and the Pete Golden's in a situation where his wife, his sisters. His wife's sisters has lived in Oxford for a long time, and they're very close. And so now all of her family is there in Oxford, and so it's kind of a unique situation, a true family setting right now for that Ole Miss coaching staff. And when you get in a stage like that in life where you're able to spend that time with the family. As we all know, in the coaching ranks, you're moving from town to town, especially these assistant coaches, every year or two.
Yeah.
And it's really a unique deal that they may never have again, all those coaches like this, where you're getting all the family together and they're enjoying the ride.
Yeah, you got to. And Rodney Orr, Tighter Insider, folks, only $48 a year. Tighter Insider TV, Tuesday nights with Gary Harris. Watch it on YouTube live. It's a great show. Rodney, what's happening in Tuscaloosa going into year 2 for Kalen DeBoer?
Yeah, well, they just finished scrimmage number 1 of camp on Saturday. They went through that scrimmage. It was a lot of glowing reports, a lot of positive vibes here in Tuscaloosa. Again, I mean, ultimately, what matters is how it all translates on the field. But no, I mean, I think they're really pleased with where they are. Ty Simpson yesterday was announced to the team that he will be the starter, which was no surprise. He had a really good scrimmage on Saturday. Those that were allowed to attend, which are, former players and what have you. The reports from the scrimmage are that, he was really in command, did a nice job. And so I think it was all encouraging right now.
Is it true Alabama has 4 players on the offensive line, for what it's worth, that bench press over 500 pounds, and multiple players squatting between 900 and 1,000 plus?
Well, I don't know.
I just got to ask you that. That's scary if it's true. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, man? I mean, these bench press numbers sometimes are inflated a little bit. I mean, how are those? How are they used? How are they performed? The exercise. But I mean, it's who knows? I mean, they're strong. There's no doubt about it. I mean, they've got a lot of experience. Caden Proctor going into his 3rd year as a starter. Parker Brailsford going into his 3rd year as a starter. Of course, he had a year at Washington, and then at Alabama. Now this will be his 3rd year. Jaden Roberts going into his 3rd year as a starter. Cam Dewberry, even the transfer from Texas A&M, had a ton of experience over there. Wilkin Formby got some experience last year. So they have there's no doubt they have a lot of experience, and I think they've built some depth behind that, or they're certainly building some depth. That's been encouraging what those guys have done in camp. So, but yeah, I mean, it should be a really strong unit.
Yeah, and they Ryan Grubb being there from everybody that we talked to in coaching is like what a great partnership. Yancey,
Yeah. Now, I think with Alabama, I think it starts with their line of scrimmage. That much maligned defensive line there under Freddie Roach the last really 2 or 3 years, and I think Freddie and that group are sick of it. I think they've heard enough of it, and I think they're going to come out and play like a pack of pissed off bees this year. I really do. I think that D line for Alabama is going to be salty. I think the offensive line. I think they're. Um, they got a lot of experience. I think they should be really good. We'll see if they can play quite up to that height, but I expect Alabama to have one of the better offensive lines. So on the trenches, Bama's going to be on both sides of the ball as a whole as good as anybody in the country. They really are. The question with Bama, will come down to how does Ty Simpson react to pressure. We know that he struggled that in the first couple years there at Alabama. What does he do when those Hornets are coming at you 100 miles an hour? And that will tell the tale for Alabama's season.
yeah, and Rodney, let's talk about too the wide receivers. Everybody knows Ryan Williams, but there's a lot of talent behind him. Talk about that and the quarterback battle as you see it. You know more than I've ever even thought of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, wide receivers, yeah, we know about Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard. They were the two leading guys last year. You added Isaiah Horton from Miami, 6'4" guy, 210 pounds, physical receiver. Guy's made a lot of big plays in the spring, had made another big play in Saturday's scrimmage, a 50-yard touchdown reception from Ty Simpson. So he's a guy that's going to bring a lot to this wide receiver core. Then you've got Rico Scott, who's a redshirt freshman who played some last year, showed a lot of talent. He's taken a big step over the summer. He's had a really good camp. He's a physical guy at about 200 pounds and has a lot of speed. And then, they have some other guys. Obviously, Cole Adams is back as a little slot type receiver, punt return guy. He's back from injury. And then Latsier Brooks, the true freshman, he's really dynamic. Got a chance to be a special player. He's been injured a little bit, so he missed about a week or so. He's slowly coming back. Hopefully, he'll be back. And don't know what kind of contribution he can make early, given that he's missed a little bit of time. But fortunately, went through spring, so he's pretty well versed already. So we'll see there. Again, I think it's a wide receiver group that should be dramatically better this year than it was last year.
Yeah. And for both of y'all, you hear about this is a league where you got to be able to stop the run the ball, play great special teams. Ole Miss's receivers, Yancey, you're talking about can be really strong. Alabama, really strong. What about the running back? So I've talked with Yancey earlier about it. The running back room for Alabama, that's the pride of the Tide Nation. Talk about the 1, 2, 3 there. And I know it. We all got to have it.
Yeah,
It's
I
like an
mean,
insurance
look,
policy.
yeah, when we think of Alabama, right, during those glory saving years, it's those running backs, right? That's really the first thing that jumps out to mind. Physical play on defense and those running backs. I don't know if anybody's going to ever have running backs in the NIL portal era as Alabama had during those days. I don't think you can do that anymore. But no, that is the most improved room on Ole Miss's squad this year, bar none. Is running back. They're really excited about this freshman Shaquille Mills Knight from Chattanooga, Tennessee. He's about 6'3", 225 pounds. Speaking of that Alabama style running back, that's what we think of, right? And he is a bulldozer. But what they're really impressed with him is not only the physical way that he runs, but also the speed he has in extra gear. Once he gets to that open field, he's gone.
Yeah.
So then they like the starter is going to be the starter from Missouri that transferred over. He's going to be the starter. Then the LSU transfer Diggs that had to sit out last year with ACL. He's probably going to be the two guy at the beginning of the season. But the Troy transfer, that came over from last year. He's about 225 pounds as well.
Yeah.
He's really been kind of quietly the surprise of the camp. I wouldn't surprise once you get towards middle to the grind of the SEC that the Troy transfer and this true freshman that I was talking about Knight, once he gets that playbook down, I wouldn't surprise if it flipped if that wasn't your 1-2 punch
Yeah.
coming down the stretch.
All right. We only just got a couple of minutes left. Rodney, what's the story with Alabama on top of the running backs that we're not talking about, that you're writing about, and we need to be following? Because a lot of dots are starting to be connected that Alabama could be really strong this year.
No, I mean, just think it's year two of the familiarity that the coaching staff has now with the players with the coaching staff, the expectations. I think, everything you hear is that they're on the same page now. There's a chemistry there that has been built, and it's been really strong. They've had a great off season. They had tremendous spring practice, and it's just carried over into the summer. I think they're on the same page, and I think that kind of means a lot. As you head into the season, and I think this is an Alabama team. The one thing I think is it's going to be interesting to watch. I'm not making any predictions, guys. I mean, I know there's a lot of positive buzz right now.
Yeah.
It all counts on the field. That's all that matters.
Correct.
But I think this team is going to be interesting because they're really fast. They got a lot of speed on defense, and they're physical. They've really had some physical practices, and I think that's what we're going to see. At least that's what I would expect to see once the season starts, is this Alabama team's going to be fast and really, really physical.
Yeah. Look, you're hearing from two of the best, Yancy Porter, Rebel Yell Hotline, Rodney Orr, Tighter Insider. Guys, we're out of time. Unbelievable stuff. Y'all are putting out stuff on Twitter, on your websites and stuff all the time. Look forward to doing it again next week. We're getting closer to all football, but thank y'all so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a
Rob.
blessed day.
Thank you, Rodney. Let me say something real quick. Today, any day, you're looking for a new car, truck, or SUV, Landers Ford in Memphis, LandersFordMemphis.com. Poplar and Houston Levy, giant lot, new and used vehicles. Service department picks you up, round-trip transportation. The 25 Expeditions, the Broncos, the F-150s, the Mustangs, the Escapes. They've got everything in inventory, or they'll go get it for you. Take $500 off for SEC Sidelines audience members. Ask for the general manager, Brad Bellamy. Huge inventory with a lot of opportunity for you, and they will work as hard as humanly possible to get you behind the wheel. Right down the street from Hewlett and Dunn Boot and Clothing Company on the historic square in Collierville, Tennessee. I get out there every week, and they've got so much stuff coming in from Filson and Barber. Man, the women's stuff they have out there is spectacular. The boots, all the Barber clothing, the Filson luggage, the Duckheads, Old South jeans, Old South T-shirts, the Devil Dog jeans. They've also got great swimwear, Seeger, the hoodies from Duck Camp and Marshwear, and these 10,000, these new workout shorts that they've got. I mean, I know there's other big brands you may have heard of. Try out the 10,000. That's the new brand. They're incredible. And look, make sure you talk to Raven, Charles, JM, Lydia, the whole crew out there. The boot selection is phenomenal. And Rumble Boxing at Union and McLean in Midtown Memphis. Hey, you know what? As we get older, you better work out. How we fight is how we live. And of course, the Lights Out gummies. Had a bunch of people ordering yesterday. Those orders within 30 minutes are shipped out. Hey, most often, right, least among us. Check us out tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, on the Lowdown with Lauren Meadows. Thanks. Have a great day, everybody.